So let's start with one of the biggest differences between these earbuds, and that's controls. Although they might all look the same, one of these earbuds is not like the other. Can you guess which one? It is the Buds Pro 2 from last year, because these came with a smart dial on the case, and I honestly love this feature. So, for example, some of the things you can do. By turning the little ratcheted dial, you can adjust the volume controls. You can turn it up, turn it down. You can click it to play or pause. You can double click to skip tracks. You can even triple click to toggle ANC or transparency modes. Really, by having the control mechanism on the case, this means you get a little mini remote control for your earbuds inside your pocket. And that means you don't have to fiddle around with the earbuds inside your ears, which always risks compromising the fit and seal. And even better, I don't have to pull out my phone and go through an app to adjust my earbuds or control them. Because I don't know about you, but I am so screened out, and the less screens I have to interact with, the better. The control mechanism is tactile, it's satisfying. Heck, even if you don't actually use it to control your earbuds, it honestly just makes for a fun little fidget toy to play with. But I love the idea of having a little remote control inside my pocket for my earbuds. This is an outstanding feature. The Buds 2 and the Buds 2 Plus, on the other hand, have ditched the dial entirely. Imagine my disappointment. You still get customizable touch controls on the earbuds themselves, but the dials here are purely decorative. They don't do anything. The only thing they do, they have two little holes drilled into them through which you can thread a lanyard, which isn't even included in the box, by the way. You'll have to go out and buy one yourself. In an ideal world, I would have taken the smart dial from the Buds 2 Pro and put it into the Buds 2 Plus. That would have been my ideal pair of earbuds. And maybe they could have also combined the Buds 2 and the Buds 2A into a single budget pair of earbuds as well. That way you would have had two distinct options instead of having four rather similar ones. Now the Buds 2 and the Buds 2 Pro have the option to select the Dirac Optio EQ preset, which was my personal favorite of the bunch. Optio digitally enhances the earbud sound by eliminating unintended resonances or sound colorations. I also find that it enhances vocals and adds a bit more bass depth. The Buds 2 Plus don't have Dirac Optio as an EQ preset option, but they do have a personal sound feature that's powered by Audiodo, which tailors the audio to your hearing profile through a built-in hearing test. Basically, it takes you through a series of tones and asks you which ones you can hear or which ones you can't hear, and then it adjusts the tuning to compensate for your ears. Battery life is another big win for the Buds 2 Plus. I got over 10 hours of playback with ANC off and nearly 60 hours total with the case. The newer Buds 2 also did fairly well, netting about 9 hours per charge. The Buds 2 Pro, being a little bit older, are falling a little bit behind now. You get about 6 hours total of playback from the earbuds and up to 40 hours total with the case. So if all-day longevity is a priority for you, the newer models definitely pull ahead. Mic performance is solid across the board, but once again the Buds 2 Plus come out a bit ahead. I found my voice sounded clearer, especially in windy or noisy environments. Even though the Buds Pro 2 has 6 microphones just like the Buds 2 Plus, I did find they didn't quite hold up as well, particularly in very noisy or windy conditions outside. The newer Buds 2 only have 4 microphones, and again, I did find that if you find yourself in noisy conditions or environments, your voice can get a little bit muffled. So in terms of default audio performance, I gotta give it to the Buds 2 Plus. These do sound the best by far. And looking at the frequency response chart, you can see that they follow our house curve the most closely. They have a bit of bass emphasis, but not too much for my taste. The mids sound clear, the treble peaks aren't too high to sound too shrill to my ears. According to our MDAX results, they scored an impressive 4.8 overall on a 5-point scale, meaning most people will really enjoy how they sound out of the box. In particular, I want to highlight that they had near perfect scores for timbre, meaning they will have very good representation of the whole frequency spectrum. The newer Buds 2 also sound really good, especially for the price. There's a bit more bass emphasis than the 2 Plus, and some detail gets lost in the treble, but they're still better than most Buds within this price range, and they get an impressive overall MDAX score of 4.5. The Pro 2 from last year, well, these are going to be for you bass heads out there. And that's because, as you can see in our frequency response charts, they have between 5 to 8 decibels more emphasis in the low end from 30 to 300 hertz. Kicks and snares sound punchy, while hi-hats and cymbals sound detailed. However, there is a bit of overemphasis in the low mids between 200 and 500 Hz, which can mask some sounds like strings and horns. Now, the Buds Pro 2 and the Buds 2 Plus are the only two out of the lineup to support LDAC for higher resolution Bluetooth audio. The Buds 2 are still limited to only the AAC and SBC codecs, so just keep that in mind if you have a compatible phone. On to ANC. Well, all three pairs actually have very good ANC for their price points. Although the differences are subtle, they are worth noting. The Buds 2 Plus are slightly better at blocking out high-pitched noise and overall ambient noise, while the Buds Pro 2 I found perform better in the low-end range, blocking out things like engine rumbles or bus noise. The Buds 2, the cheaper ones, are just a notch behind both, but still very effective for daily use. But just to put this all into perspective, I mean, just because you're not paying premium prices doesn't mean you're not getting really good noise cancellation. I mean, all of these earbuds attenuate the perceived loudness of outside noise by an average of over 80%. 81% for the Buds Pro 2, 82% for the Buds 2, and 83% for the Buds 2 Plus, and that 83% is on par with Apple's AirPods Pro 2. And all three of these are far better than AirPods 4 with ANC, which just blow them out of the water because those only had an average 53% attenuation.